Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Southgate Planning Commission meeting. Today is Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. I will be calling this meeting to order at 6:31 p.m. And Daisy, can you please lead us on the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please stand.
Can I get a roll call?
Chairperson Reese,
Present.
Vice Chairperson Prieto,
Present.
Commissioner Castañeda, Commissioner Osaeta,
Present.
Commissioner Valenzuela.
Present.
I have Javier Barraza, Special Projects Coordinator, certified that a true and correct copy of the foregoing meeting agenda was properly posted on October 2nd, 2025, 72 hours prior to the scheduled meeting as required by law. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54952.3, disclosure of compensation for meeting attendance by the Planning Commission is $125 per meeting.
Thank you. Now to the consent calendar. First item is the Planning Commission meetings for September 16, 2025. Hope all of my colleagues had a time to look through the minutes. Can I get somebody to recommend a motion to approve?
I can make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for September 15th.
Can I get a second?
Sorry, 16th.
Second.
And roll call?
Commissioner Castañeda? No, she's absent. Commissioner Osaeta?
Yes.
Commissioner Valenzuela?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Prieto?
Yes.
Chairperson Reese?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Now to the next item is the lot line adjustment for item number 25-01.
Thank you, Chairperson Reese. John Signo, Planning Manager. This item for lot line adjustment number 25-01 is for the Planning Commission to consider conducting the public hearing to consider modifying a boundary line between two existing parcels located at 8600 Ream Avenue within the Industrial Flex IF zone and consider a categorical exemption under California Environmental Quality Act Guidelines Section 15305, Class 5, minor alterations and land use limitations for a minor lot line adjustment. We have Assistant Planner Hernandez here to give the presentation, and she has a PowerPoint presentation as well, so we'll get that loaded for you. But I'll go ahead and introduce Assistant Planner Hernandez.
Good evening, Commissioners. So as John mentioned, today we'll be looking at lot line adjustment 25-01 located at 8600 Ream Avenue. Okay. And the applicants for this project were Jim Bonham on behalf of HUSPRF Bowers, the owners of parcel 6216 003 005, which I will be referring to as parcel B, and Randy Steinberg on behalf of New South Central Properties, the owners of parcel 6216 003 007. which I will be referring to as Parcel A. The lot line adjustment involves the modification of a property line between two existing properties in the industrial flex zone and will not result in additional lots being created. As mentioned before, the lots are in the industrial flex zone with the industrial flex transitional overlay. To show where the lots are located, they are south of Independence Avenue and north of Firestone Boulevard. Directly north of the properties is the South Pacific Railroad. South of the properties are an impound lot operated by Mr. C's. And to the east and west of the properties are manufacturing and warehousing businesses. So this is a more clear overview of the project that's being proposed. As you can see, there's a dotted line indicating where the lot line is currently existing and a solid line showing where it's going to be moved to. But to show you a little bit more clearly of what's going on, okay, so once the lot line is adjusted, there will be a reallocation of 0.16 acres from parcel B to parcel A. Currently, parcel B is 0.23 acres and parcel A is 2.26 acres. And as mentioned, when there is a reallocation of that 0.16 acres, parcel A will now be 2.42 acres and parcel B will be 0.07 acres. So here's the proposed afterwards. So as mentioned, there will be a reallocation of that 0.16 from parcel B to parcel A. The Southgate Municipal Code, Chapter 12.10.020, requires that the lot line be presented to the Planning Commission, where the lot line will be approved, conditionally approved, or denied. The municipal code does not have any minimum lot size requirements for lots that are in the industrial flex zone. Under CEQA, the project qualifies for a categorical exemption per section 15305, class 5, minor alterations in land use limitations, as the project will not result in changes to the land use or any changes to the density. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission find that the project is categorically exempt from CEQA under section 15305, class 5, minor alterations and land use limitations. And staff also recommends the approval of the lot line adjustment subject to requirements set forth in the municipal code and subject to conditions the Planning Commission may wish to impose on the project. Any questions?
Any questions from my colleagues? No.
Sure, I have a quick question. Regarding the two lots in question, do any of the existing lots have any pending violations?
I believe they don't. I can look a little bit more into that and get back to you.
Thank you.
I did submit a question to our staff earlier today. I have to admit it wasn't early enough. But prior to this meeting, I was looking up the properties online to check what their environmental issues might be. And I did find a land use covenant on them. I brought my computer, but the Wi-Fi is not working. So it's going to be a little hard for me to go back and check on the specifics related to the land use covenant or the land use restrictions. I believe it was related to the bigger parcel. And I found this on the Department of Toxic Substances Control, EnviroStore database. And it looks like both parcels have had extensive industrial use. They've both have varying levels of remediation done to clean up the contamination on both properties. However, as many of these industrial properties end up getting cleaned up to certain levels that aren't adequate for more sensible uses related to just people being around, like kind of like the Jack Engel property did have a land use restriction. It's restricted on what can be built on it. And so my question is whether joining these parcels will kind of suck up the other parcel and kind of give those restrictions on it as well, or how, whether we have to make any reference to anything like that.
So that's a good question. We did a little bit of research and visited EPA's website on what they have on the property. It looks like the site is identified as a certified operations and maintenance. And so we know that they've looked at it. The history indicates that no further action is required on there. So it looks like they still are monitoring it. There are some land use restrictions, mostly related to sensitive and residential uses. And there's a covenant to restrict certain uses on the property, which was recorded in 2010. So to me, it seems like that smaller property up there, they're getting part of that land to the larger property to the west. It seems like the larger property would inherit some of those, but it seems like those restrictions would really just be for the part that's being given over to the larger property. And I don't know if maybe Craig has more to add to that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what's going on here is the owner of the smaller property is selling half of that property to the owner of the larger parcel. And in order to legally be able to do that, they need the lot line adjustment. Otherwise, they violate state laws on selling half of a parcel. So the lot line adjustment is not going to affect any existing land use restrictions. If there were restrictions on the west half of the smaller parcel, those now become restrictions on the eastern point of the larger parcel. But there's still no action by this commission to approve the lot line adjustment would eliminate any of the existing restrictions or contamination history on the property.
Got it. Thank you. Any other questions or comments to staff? Do we need to open this up to the audience?
Yes, need to open the public hearing.
Any audience members that would like to speak on this item? No? All right, seeing none, do any of my colleagues want to make a motion?
Oh, I don't know if the applicant is here, it may be good to have the applicant. Yeah.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Luke Horsby. I'm the surveyor here on behalf of the applicant team. Here to answer any questions, but really the motivation here is actually an existing line of occupation. So one site is, and the aerial sort of illustrated that. You can kind of see that the larger parcel actually currently uses the portion that's being conveyed to them, and it's actually separated by a fence. So this lot line adjustment will kind of just reflect the lines of occupation with the physical property line for a little bit more context.
So it's already being used as part of the bigger.
Exactly.
Got it. Any other questions for the applicant from my colleagues? No? Seeing none, can I get a motion?
I can make a motion to approve the lot line adjustment number 25-01.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I can second.
Thanks. Can I get a roll call?
Commissioner Osaeta,
Yes.
Commissioner Valenzuela,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Prieto,
Yes.
Chairperson Reese.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Now on to open session items.
We have none.
Seeing none, on to comments.
So we're on audience comments now. If anybody from the audience would like to address the planning commission on any items not on the agenda, now is your time.
Oh, if you could turn on your,
Sweet. My name is Roberto Sanchez. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here. I wrote this down, otherwise I'm just going to be blabbering on. Just wanted to say thank you for the pickleball courts. Thank you for adding more nets, as well as painting the lines on the courts. Investing in these pickleball courts have made many of our residents very happy. We have seniors exercising again, new friendships being forged from playing together. People who otherwise would have never exchanged words are now forging friendships. It's pretty cool. Let's see here. We have people from different cities coming to Southgate just because our courts are superior from the surrounding areas. It's really awesome. I just want to say thank you for investing in us, and that's pretty much it. Seriously, thank you. Appreciate it.
well, thanks for your comment. Just to let you know though, it sounds like your comments related to more of the parks and the council, but yeah, no, and I'm actually a parks commissioner too, so I'll make sure to relay the information to my colleagues. No problem. Any other comments? No? All right. So moving on to city staff comments.
Yes, Chair Reese, I just want to report that I sent an email last week about the sexual harassment training for AB 1234 and AB 1661. And you should be receiving an email by tomorrow, from what I understand, to be able to have that training. It is a required training that you need to take in order to be on the Planning Commission. And I also want to report in terms of other projects that we have going on. We do plan on having a meeting on October 21st. And so we do have an item already scheduled for that. We have the ADU ordinance for second reading going to City Council next week. That was already passed, first reading at their last meeting. And we are anticipating to have a CEQA workshop with the Planning Commission in November. So we're preparing for that. We also have some pre-planned for ADUs that we would like to show as well. So that's coming up in November. It was requested that we have some more training. So we are preparing for that.
Great.
And to answer some of the other questions that were raised at the last meeting, there were some questions about barbed wire, in particular the property over on Rayo and Mr. C's. And we're currently working with Mr. C's right now. The Planning Commission had recommended approval of a zone change, which is now being considered. It'll be considered by the City Council at a future meeting. We're working on the environmental document for that before it actually goes to City Council. But we are working with the applicant at this point. We're also working with Public Works because Public Works has plans to make improvements along Rayo Avenue, which may or may not involve the location of that fence. So the idea is to really have some landscaping in front of that fence and I guess treat that fence up, to make it look in better appearance than what it looks now. We also met with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency a few weeks ago, and we talked about what their overview for the site over there. And EPA really doesn't. What they told us, they don't restrict the use that goes on the property. What they're concerned about is the contamination underground on that property. So that's what they're really monitoring. But again, we are working with the applicant to address, the land uses on there, the fence, the landscaping, any street widening that would be required under Public Works. And at some point, that will be brought to City Council for their consideration. In regards to there's barbed wire on the southern part, and it does appear that it might be on the Mr. C's property, but it's actually on the LAUSD property. And LAUSD is actually not subject to the city's requirements. They're a school district, so they're subject to the state requirements. And so we did contact LAUSD. I called them personally, asked them if they could kindly remove the barbed wire as a act of good faith for the community. And so I've gotten across to them, but again, they're not under, I guess, our purview. So hopefully they do it in good faith. In regards to, I guess, other barbed wire in the city, I know that our code currently prohibits any barbed wire in the city. I guess my understanding is if it was there before the city updated its code, which I understand is like 2015, then it would be considered grandfathered in or possibly subject to, I guess the requirements at the time. So it may have been permitted prior to the code amendment that was done by the city. It's currently not allowed. I spoke to the building official, and when we do have certificate of occupancies coming through, we make sure that what they're proposing does not include barbed wire or razor wire. So that's how we would prohibit any future barbed wire from coming in. And other things I want to report out, there's an issue with some odor coming from the properties. I think it was mentioned that UWS may have odors there. They're the ones that handle composting. And they have a site right off the freeway. I actually visited that site yesterday, and you can actually smell the site. But from what I'm told, and Public Works is reviewing this as well, they're aware of it. It's actually coming from a sewer or manholes that are there. And so that's where the smell is actually coming from. And when you're actually around it, it is a pretty foul stench that you can smell. But it is distinct from the composting odors coming from the UWS property. So they're addressing that now. They're currently doing some work on Frontage Road. They're repaving that road, and they may have opened up those manholes and maybe released some of the odors. That might be where some of the problems may have been coming from. But we are aware of that issue, and hopefully that gets taken care of soon. It was also mentioned that we have a conditional use permit recheck on, I guess, alcohol conditional use permits that the commission approved previously, and so we're working on that to bring that to the planning commission as a presentation, and as well as other trainings. And that, I think that concludes what I have to say. Thank you.
I have a question. I did receive the email with the sexual harassment training. Do we need to provide the certificate or?
Yeah, so my understanding is once you take the training, you pass it, you'll get sent a copy of that certificate. And I understand, I guess it gets sent also to the, I believe it's city clerk's office. So they have.
So it automatically will send out once it's done?
It should go to them. If you like, you can send me a copy. I'll make sure that
Okay.
it goes over to their office.
Thank you.
Great. Any other comments from my colleagues?
Yeah, John, can you speak to the electrical security fence on the corner of Firestone and Rayo that was mentioned by or that was brought to our attention by the residents?
Yeah, and I don't believe our code actually allows for that either. It's not mentioned. I guess it's one of those things that if it's not mentioned, it's not allowed. That's typically how it works. I know for barbed wire, it specifically says that it's not, they're prohibited in our code. The thing about electrical wire, I guess we wouldn't find out unless we're told about it. So I guess we could refer that over to our code enforcement. We have a pretty slim staff right now in code enforcement. But I guess it would be more of a proactive thing. I don't think we're actively going out there. I'm sorry, we're not proactively going out there and citing these. It's also hard to tell what's electrical and what's not. So unless somebody reports it, then we can go out there to
Yeah, the reason I mentioned that is because it was in the email that the residents asked me to submit 3 months ago. So there is electrical barbed wire or fencing, security fencing on the corner of Parson and Rio, and it specifically references electricity on the actual thing. So if we can look into that, or at least you can ask code enforcement in regards to the barbed wire and whether it was in place before any adjustments were made to the code or whatever the case may be. It looks like the barbed wire that they're referencing is recently installed, so it would probably fall under the current code in regards to like it not being allowed. And that's on Rio as well. And I think there were pictures that were submitted on that as well as for pictures were submitted regarding the electricity wire, security wire on Rio and Firestone.
Do you know which corner that would be located on?
Yeah, if you're going towards Firestone, once you pass Mr. C's on the left-hand side, there's an actual railroad track that runs through there. There's a business that's right up against the railroad track. That whole side of the wall has electrical, or actually a razor security wire there. And then if you keep going on that towards Firestone, I think it's you're on your right-hand side, it'll be Schultz Steel, but on the left-hand side corner, that's where there's electricity or the electrical security wire on top of that fencing. And that's all in the pictures that were submitted to staff.
Okay.
But thank you for providing an update. I know the residents were following up on that, so I really appreciate you bringing it up here.
Yeah, we'll forward that over to code enforcement.
Thank you. Any other questions from my colleagues? No. Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for all the updates. It is really helpful so that we can really keep on, working for the people that, we're here to represent. And so with no other comments from anybody here, I would like to adjourn this meeting at 6:58 p.m.
Yeah, man. That was fast. Dude, I think that's the fastest one we've ever been a part of.